Ready?
No.
Right, are you ready now? Yep.
Good morning, Harris Academy. My name is Mr. Doherty and I'm joined by my co-presenter,
Mr. Rickenberg.
and we are here for our weekly round of jogging around the world. Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Other than the horses on the A13 this morning, sir.
Yeah, we might as well just start with that. Right.
Yeah, do you know what I'm tempted to do?
Go on.
Buy a boat, get a jetty on the island, and just row to work instead of getting.
How easy would it be? How long do you reckon that take you to row from Canvey Island to here?
Obviously, because I'm rapid, it'll be like I reckon.
So Steve Redgrave.
So Steve Rickenberg. I reckon 2 hours.
So to give you some context to our listeners, this morning, Mr. Rickenberg, I was listening to Eurasia, a little bit of respect on the radio, having a right old Friday morning sing-song, and the phone rings, and I'm like, hello, and he's like, you left yet? And I was like, yeah, why? And he, as you know full well, I don't do sat-navs, so I'm not very good at technology, and you're like, yeah, what is it, the bridge by Pitsy's just closed?
So just for our worldwide listeners, the A13, which takes me to work, that was shut this morning between the A130 and the Pitsy flyover because there were horses loose on the road somehow.
Welcome to Essex.
Welcome to Essex, and it was absolute pandemonium.
It was a bit unnerving actually, because when I came, I went through through Pitsy, round the roundabout, joined the A13.
You realise why Pitsy is such a popular place, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I came up onto the motorway, and then I looked right, and there was just nothing. It was empty. So obviously it was just closed behind it. It was a bit strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress as usual.
Yeah. Something different again today, sir. What are we drinking?
What are we drinking? The caramel Starbucks macchiato, chilled coffee.
Yeah.
Bold espresso, creamy milk, hints of caramel flavour.
Right. The reason why we're not getting Jimmy's that much anymore is simply because we're getting too early for Sainsbury's to be open. So
that's what it is. Tesco don't stock Jimmy's, by the way, Tesco. So if you want to, Jimmy's, if you want to have a word, we will continue to buy it. So currently we're sponsored by Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks at the moment, yeah.
But anyway, nice. And we do need to apologise about the cup situation.
Yeah, mine's in the car and it's absolutely pouring down the rain out there. Didn't it feel weird without Avery?
We haven't told the listeners that she's not here.
We're a producer down, hence the laptop.
Yeah, it just seemed a little bit, this morning we were a little bit all over the place because our poor Ava has been off. She's not been very well,
no.
Neither has her mother. So, and her mother obviously has to bring her in nice and early every Friday morning. So we wish them both to get well. I think they might actually be coming in today, but we didn't want to put any pressure on them.
It's normally we do have an audience.
Yeah, it's strange. It's gone back to how it used to be.
Yeah, it'd be weird. Yeah.
Anyway, we digress as usual.
Right, shout outs. I think we start off with our boys, with our Year 9s.
Year 9 football team.
Yeah.
Great result.
Great result.
Is that because we weren't there?
I think there's a trend.
They seem to win when we're not in charge.
Yeah.
Well, we are in charge.
Oh yeah,
executive coach.
But
apparently there were chants of we're getting sacked in the morning, which transpires it was just Mr. Geogin. So we have to give Mr. Geogin a shout out because he took the team for us because we were unable to do it because we were doing Year 11 intervention. But the boys got a great result. They won 1-0, didn't they?
Yeah, 1-1-0, 0-0 in the first half. I guess that's the point.
Yep.
1-0 in the second half. Mr. Okafor getting our goal.
Well done, Daniel. Well done.
Yeah,
and Lewis Wilson gets shout out for being man of the match.
Man of the match, big time. Apparently really solid in defence.
Yeah.
Which I think this is the foundation we build our teams on, isn't it?
Yeah, building out from the back. Either build out from the back or just route one.
And it's good to see that our training sessions are really being embedded into the actual games here, so as well.
And we better move on because this isn't a football podcast. So next shout out.
We've got, I think it's Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was Willow Morgan in 9U. Her dad is another avid listener. I think what we need to try and do is find some big listeners, big fans of the podcast, and give them a shout out. So, Mr. Morgan,
how did you find out about it? Did she come up to you? You shouted out Indy's dad. So what?
No. Willow told me a while ago that they listened to it in the car together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he thoroughly enjoys it. And he came over Year 8 parents' evening, I think it was, and he didn't even say much. He just come over and just shook my hand and then walked away.
Really?
Yeah, he must have been so happy to meet me.
Yeah.
That he thought, maybe he was lost for words.
Maybe that's what parents' evenings are, like, they're meet and greets.
Meet and greet. And he just come over, shook my hand, and walked off. So there's your shout out.
And then,
sir?
Yeah, finally, Year 11s, their mock they did on Wednesday yesterday. tough going. I thought some of the questions.
Yeah, year 11 mock. I thought, do you know what? It's a good introduction. The idea of a mock is that you know it's a trial run. So we go over this. We did, you know, we've said this before. But yeah, I thought they did really well. Fair play to them. It's tough. The mocks are tough, and they came out. There was some mixed reviews, wasn't there? But
yeah, and this is our favourite time of the year because of all the marking meetings.
I can't wait. Yeah, I love it. It's actually why I do the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you signed up to be a teacher so you could mark papers.
Yeah. So we are going to crack on marking them, and we'll see how we get on. So fingers crossed. There's always going to be room for improvement, always, but fingers crossed they've got some good results.
Yeah, and there'll be plenty of shout outs for the year 11s going forward, I think, as well. So, the point of today, in view of the mocks coming up again on Monday, the human paper, we are going to do a case study from the human paper, and we're looking at how is London trying to be sustainable? How is it trying to fix its contemporary challenge, sir? So, we're starting off by saying, in London, for our solutions, what's the problem, sir?
Congestion,
traffic.
Yeah, traffic. Because I was talking
horses on the road, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But it's just because actually we'll get to that in a minute. But the reason why I wanted you to say traffic was because I was talking to year 7s during urban and rural, and the word congestion was on the board, and a couple were like, "What's congestion?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, so congestion's traffic, isn't it?"
Yeah, it's the. I don't know. It's the definition that's in lesson 2 of year 7. It's the clogging up of something. Something when it's clogged up, it's busy, it's very slow. So congestion is traffic, and London has got a traffic problem.
And for our kids, like maybe not all of them maybe haven't sat in traffic. They might not have cars or whatever.
Getting in the right time and the wrong time in the morning, assisting traffic
out there, but also the G floor.
Yeah,
that gets congested.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's as an example of school congestion. Is the G floor when we're all funneling down that corridor. It can be congested. So imagine that on a citywide scale, involving vehicles, cars, everything else.
Yeah, just for a stat.
Sorry, so I keep looking out that window. It's just the rain keeps catching my attention. Stop looking around.
Just a stat for the congestion problem. During rush hour, the average speed of someone driving in their car is 8 miles an hour.
Really?
That's it.
8 miles an hour.
8 miles an hour.
So, and so, all right, well, are we going to talk about the problems of congestion? Or not so much?
Yeah, briefly, I think.
Should we just do that now quickly? Because I'm annoyed as well. Because last night, what time did we leave? We had a staff meeting after work, didn't we? Then we had an additional staff meeting, a meeting after a meeting.
Yeah.
Beverages
provided. Yeah.
And so I left, and I don't normally leave at that sort of time. What time did we leave? Like half 5, 6?
Yeah, I think I got in the car at 6 o'clock.
I didn't get home until after 7:30.
Oh.
Yeah, I sat in standstill traffic in. Just on the South End Arterial Road, it was bad. Like it was just so slow, and I was thinking, and then it was just took ages, and the sat nav was just red, and it was saying like 35 minutes from that roundabout. You know, you get onto the arterial, so it isn't that far for our worldwide listeners. But it was red, 35 minutes. And we're driving, and like obviously not driving like 5 miles an hour. The police turn up, right? They go through everybody. They pull over to the left just in front of me. So I was thinking, oh God, there's going to be a crash right ahead. It must have just happened. Yeah. There was one car had broken down.
Oh, that's what caused all the grief.
That was all it was. A car had broken down. Yeah, so it's like, so what? As a country, like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, really?
It's not good enough.
So anyway, so that's what congestion does. It causes us stress.
Yeah. So stress. It causes stress. Health issues. Yes. Because especially for people walking past traffic. I think it says the best way to get around London is probably by walking or a bike. Yeah. But the problem is when you're outside during the traffic hours, you then breathing in all that.
Yeah. And am I right in saying you know more about cars than I do? Is it like cars use more fuel when they're sitting in traffic? Sort of build
exactly.
Up. Yeah.
So and all that pollution's then going up into the atmosphere. You've got missed hours of work. But luckily for me, leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning this morning, it wasn't a problem for me getting in on time.
We're still here to report this.
And that then impacts the economy because then they're missing out on productivity. Like the economy's missing out on productive hours of people working, so that's an issue.
So you can quickly touch upon that then. If you're talking about congestion as an issue, it causes social problems such as stress, anxiety, and then that links obviously to economic impacts of lost hours, lost revenue, and it also causes environmental impacts because it creates more pollution.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Right. So, what are they trying to do to solve it? So we've got a couple of solutions here. We're going to look at the positives and the negatives for each, and just some stats about them. We're going to start all the way back in 2003. They introduced this. I bet in 2003 it was controversial when they decided to put this in place. The congestion charge. So the congestion charge, if you're trying to go into the City of London, so the congestion charge isn't the ULEZ where it's Greater London, it's the City of London. It is a £12.50 charge, £12.50 to £15 charge if you enter it, and it's non-negotiable, right? It's not like the ULEZ where if you've got a new car, you don't have to pay it and stuff like that. It's a non-negotiable charge that if you go into the centre of London during certain hours of the day, you have to pay between £12.50 and £15. Right, so what's positive? What should be the positives of that?
It reduces congestion.
How?
Because less people are going to do it.
Why?
Because it puts you off.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah. So
it puts the idea of having to pay £15 driving to central London is a massive put off.
Yeah.
I would never do it.
No.
I wouldn't even consider it. If I was going into the centre of London, say I was going for whatever reason, I would never drive.
Yeah. I wouldn't even. No way. Absolutely not. So it should put people off, and I think when it was introduced, there was 40,000 less journeys made into central London, which is a good thing. Okay, but on the flip side, why might it not be very sustainable?
Because people might have to go there.
Yeah, exactly. So
if you work there, and say for example, you're a tradesman, and often you're working in the City of London, you can't be jumping on a train with all your tools.
No.
So you need to drive in.
So it's going to impact businesses, so there might be then a lack of investment into London.
Yeah, it could. Some people might have no alternative really other than to drive. Yeah. Maybe it could be a whole host of reasons why people can only drive.
The biggest factor is that it hasn't actually reduced journey times at all. So I think in the first few weeks they made upwards of I think it's about £500,000 in people just not paying.
Really?
Yeah, so there's fines given out of people just didn't pay it. So it's also relying on people paying.
Yeah.
Right, because some of these things you're not going to court for not paying your charges. Although I did see something on the internet where armed police pulled over someone on the M25 because they had £800 of unpaid ULEZ charges. Armed police on the M25.
Oh my God. £800 though as well. Yeah. That's a big old bill.
That is a big old bill. So so one way they're trying to do it is congestion charge. I think congestion charging is probably the best way to reduce congestion. I think it is. I think it works. But has it worked in London in terms of reducing journey times? No. The next one is the Boris bikes. So do you want to tell us a little bit about Boris bikes?
So the Boris bikes, which are now called Santander bikes, are they Santander and Barclays bikes, or is it just Santander?
They're actually never called. They're not actually ever called Boris bikes. They're never called Boris bikes.
Oh, he
was called Barclays bikes, and he didn't even introduce them.
Did he not?
He just bopped around. He just bopped around them.
Right. So we'll just call them Boris bikes, but they are sponsored by Santander and Barclays, right? And they've also got a couple of different ones now, haven't they? What's the other one called? I can't remember for the life of me. Anyway, right. So they've got the bikes. So what you do is the bikes. If you've been to London, you'll see them. They're stacked up in rows and all over the place. You go in, you put in a code, you put your card in, you pay
£2.50.
£2.50, and how long is that for?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. It's a lot, isn't it? When you think about it.
But this is the interesting bit. Go on. You get half an hour, right? If you and that £2.50 is for 24 hours. Yeah. Right. If you dock your bike again within 30 minutes, right, and then get another one out, you don't get charged for it. Yeah. Right. If you dock it past half an hour, then you get an extra charge. It's £2 on top for every.
Why can't you just keep the bike for 24 hours? Is it to stop you from just?
Yeah, I think it's also to maintain availability of bikes everywhere.
Right. So that's great. So that's the idea. So the idea is that people have easy access to these bikes. They can whiz around London, get from A to B for £2.50, which I suppose in the grand scheme of things, if you are on the ball and you're getting that for 24 hours, that's not disastrous. Is it?
It's not disastrous, and it stops people getting in cars.
So it stops people getting in the cars, which reduces congestion, which reduces pollution.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also encourages people to cycle,
get healthier,
which improves health, which we can link to in our news bulletin later on. So there's some positives. Is there any more? I think
they're the main positives. Negatives.
These negatives annoy me about it. This is what the problem is.
So I'll start with the negatives. That it's confusing. If you don't know the rules, then you're being charged 2 hours for every other hour that you're using the bike. There's the case of that it could put people at risk.
100%. You don't have a helmet.
No. And you're driving around central London.
London's a dangerous place to cycle. Yeah. It's so dangerous, London, to cycle. And there's no cycle lanes really. They don't provide you with a helmet. And as you're dealing, like we've said, the congestion hasn't reduced. So the cars are still on the road. You're cycling. You can't cycle on the pavement because that's illegal. it just frustrates me slightly that they've brought in this initiative, because if you go to places like Holland,
Bikes are king.
bikes are king. Like it's amazing when you go and see how it operates. You're like, right, but everyone's on board, and everyone understands the rules. Everyone's on board. Everyone agrees with it. Everyone sees the benefits of it, and therefore it works.
Yeah, I think socially, I think environmentally, it's sustainable. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it whatsoever. I think economically, for the price of it, it is sustainable to an extent.
Yeah, providing you know what you're doing.
Providing you know what you're doing. And socially, I think socially is an interesting one. Socially, it's good because people potentially get healthier. Socially, it's bad because potentially it's dangerous.
To be honest with you, I would feel on edge getting on one of those bikes.
Yeah. I would try if you're bopping around Hyde Park where there's no cars around.
Yeah.
But
the idea is that you should be able to go anywhere. So I think, and it would be a massive ask of London to be able to introduce a cycle sort of. They're getting better. They are trying. I understand that, but we're way off.
Right. In terms of time of the day, sir.
What is it?
8 o'clock. Do you think we skip the last one and move on to the news? Talk about 2.
Yeah, keep it at 2 because what's this? So we need, what is this question very quickly going to be?
So normally it is along the lines of evaluate the success of one initiative to make an AC city more sustainable.
So if you could talk about both of them, or would it say one initiative? Sorry. So if you could talk about one of them in detail, the positives and negatives, your overall opinion.
Yeah.
Link it to sustainability
all the time.
Linking it back to the question, which is the idea is sustainability. And linking it to environmental, social, and economic benefits and like negatives.
Yeah. So I think I don't think it's always, again, I've been saying this to a lot of people. I don't think it's always the positives and the negatives of it.
Yeah.
I think it could be what's sustainable about it, what's not sustainable.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Because we've been discussing this, haven't we? So what makes it sustainable? What isn't so sustainable?
So what essentially is what's good about it, what's bad about it, but in terms of sustainability.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Right. So
I think that's enough. Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah. I think the news. Now I've only got one thing on the news.
I didn't realise we were going to get so passionate about that topic there.
Yeah.
I think we do all right.
Yeah. Only one thing on the news today.
I'll be honest, a lot of negative news at the minute, and I don't want to.
I couldn't find out about anything positive really.
Yeah, there's been some.
Not really much in terms of the environment, to be honest. There's not really much of that. Right. So the news today is on multiple news sources that I found this. I was on Sky News, The Guardian, I was on the Daily Telegraph, and I was on BBC. And it is now that more than 1 billion people on planet Earth are now overweight.
Yeah, obese. Yeah, this was on the radio this morning. And then a lot, and in the UK, I can't remember the statistic for the UK now, but there was a lot of young people overweight as well. It said
overweight children UK. Probably the news here. 10% of reception age were obese, and that's ages 4 to 5 in 2021-22.
Now, this news, this links. This is massively geographical, isn't it?
Yeah, this also links to our newer topic we're doing in the Year 11s, which is resource reliance.
Resource reliance. It links to development.
Yeah.
Because it's the developed world where this is happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was really interesting on the radio the other day in Japan. So they were having, and in my opinion, they do it on 5 Live, and they were saying, should employers have a say in their employees' weight, right? So if their employer believes that their employees are overweight and unhealthy, should they get involved and say something about it? Because this is all. There's a big report come out recently about this. So apparently in Japan they do.
Do they?
But again, in the UK, if an employer said something to someone about that, it's just not going to go well, is it? And I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Obviously, we want our nation to be healthy, but it's not that straightforward, is it? It's not that black and white.
No, yeah, and there's also something interesting in Japan. That is, I can't remember what it was. There's 2 places in my head, right? There's one of them that if you're overweight in your country, like if you're overweight in your country, then you have to pay more tax, right? That's controversial, that, isn't it? I tried to find so in Japan they've imposed stiff penalties on companies and civic authorities if they fail to meet targets about weight and waist sizes. And I'm pretty sure there's another country, it might be New Zealand or it might be France, but it is, if you're obese, you don't get a visa to live in the country. They're saying that you're going to be a burden on their healthcare services.
I'll be honest, the teaching profession, Does not help.
No.
Them donuts in that staff room, biscuits,
Pizzas.
pizza parties. I had 5 slices of pizza the other day, and then went home and had dinner.
Yeah.
Right, it's shocking. And it's biscuits, staff room biscuits and stuff.
Terrible things.
So yeah, maybe I'm not taking up that job though.
No. With the billion people overweight, I don't want to say the fattest country in the world, but the country with the people who are the largest is like Tonga. It's those countries, right? So the reason why they're the most overweight is because historically the Maori people, they're on those ships for ages looking for fish and doing all that sort of stuff, right? So their metabolisms are naturally and through almost like evolution are naturally really slow.
Yeah.
So now they don't have to go out on the boats and get all the fish and stuff because it's like takeaways and all that stuff. They're eating how they would normally eat, or eating how we'd eat, but because their metabolisms are naturally slow, it's taking in all of the calories from that thing and then
burning them slow. Yeah. And that's interesting because they would have needed to sustain themselves for longer out to sea. Oh, that's really interesting. That's cool, isn't it? And in those sort of parts of the world, they seem to live a bit more of a chilled lifestyle. You know, like when you go to London again, links this week, you see people walking on eating a meal deal really quickly. So we might not be consuming the healthiest food, but people are just on the go all the time. You know, and it's so maybe we burn it off and. I don't know, I think there's something really interesting about that and also habits and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
We are pretty solid of having our lunch, aren't we?
Yeah.
We sit down, we eat our lunch. There's no point being a hero, guys, and eating your lunch at your desk. Take your 30 minutes and have some downtime.
Absolutely.
It's important. Right.
Geographical fact.
What is it?
I think you'll like this, and I'm going to put it out there, and I want to see if anyone knows the answer to this. I want to know if you know the answer to this. Geographical fact this time is more of a question. Right? Well, the geographical fact is Mount Everest is not the tallest mountain in the world. From bottom to top, it is not the tallest mountain in the world. And in the comments, and I don't want it just being Wild doing this, I want to get some more people doing it. Because again, Wild is the only person who's given us some facts, and I'm pretty sure we asked pretty nicely last week.
So maybe don't ask, maybe do it in your teacher voice now then.
Yeah. So, Mount Everest is not the tallest mountain in the world. Take 30 seconds. And can you just talk to your partner and figure out what you think is the tallest mountain in the world?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to tell you?
No, let's talk about it next week.
Okay,
let's see, because we've got to give him a chance.
Yeah, I've got to give him a chance.
Yeah, so let's see, because I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm going to talk to you about this off camera because I've got an idea of what it is, but then we'll talk about this next week. So we have to remember next week. All right, so that's our question.
Yeah.
Where are we at now?
Not a weather forecast.
It's not a weather forecast at all. Look at that.
I saw a sunrise this morning.
It was lovely. Have you noticed it started getting lighter now in the morning?
Yeah, definitely.
It was almost. When I was pulling in now, it was getting.
I saw Pitsy and Vange in all its sunrise glory.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's starting to make me feel a bit better.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't mind this rain because I know we're getting it. It's light out there. It is very wet today. What's the weather saying for the weekend? I'm playing golf tomorrow, so
dry. Tomorrow's going to be all right, apart from really early in the morning. Do you know, I read a book and I figured out what Red Sky at Night Shepherd's Delight means.
You told me this a while ago. I'm going to finish off with that.
So,
this is good.
The Red Sky at Night Shepherd's Delight is that normally the reason why we get a red sky at night is because the sun sets in the west, and what it's shining on is the reason why you get the red sky is because it's going through clouds, right? But I'm pretty sure it's glowing on clouds which are in the east. So in the UK, that weather system has already passed us, right? But in the morning, when they say red sky, in the morning, Shepherd's warning, is that when the sun's rising in the east, it's shining on clouds in the west, and that weather's then coming towards us.
That's amazing.
That's cool, isn't it?
So cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
what
cool.
a thing to finish it on. Yeah, have a nice weekend.
You too. Like, let me get the
intro, the outro. Have a good weekend. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I don't know what time we're on. I've got
get your homework, guys.
Yeah, I've got some things to sort out, but yeah, normally, obviously, our producer's here for this, and she's actually, there's adverts and everything, so.
We're going to soccer.
Absolutely right, mate. Oh, Christ. Right, but maybe I can edit this out, but I don't mind a bit of flimsiness. Our consultant might be a bit frustrated, but I don't think she's listened to it in a while.
No,
unless I get an email saying why you moaning about me for. Right, okay, here we go. Well done.
Right.
Right, this is why, sir.